We work hard so you can get hard. That's a lot.
Woo! I'm sure that was consensual.
It was fucking Carl!
Okay. We are going to talk Collin Sexton trades, okay? So we are tired of him being on the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have bushwhacked our boy. They offered him a 3-year, $40 million contract. Absolute dog shit offer for our boy. So where does he need to go? Where's your number 5 spot that you think is most likely for him to end up, or that you want him to go? How did you rank it?
I didn't put landing spots. I have 3 trades. Sign-in trades. That
my bad. I don't know why I said 5. We were talking next 5 years of Rockets, so my mind was on that.
And we have a ranking 5 after this. I get it. 5s are everywhere. 5's the number today.
But right now, he's got 3 trade proposals, ladies and gents. Let's hear the first one.
All right, so a lot of people might think I'm selling him low on these, but it's a sign-in trade, and he's already declined the extension that they offered. So I don't think they're gonna have much choice in certain matters on what they get back. So first trade, Cavaliers. Collin Sexton's going to the Wizards for Will Barton and Rui Hachimura. What do you think? Who says no?
I think the Cavs would say no if they could. I mean, I think they could find something better than that.
Yeah, but however,
Rui's not bad, to be fair, I guess.
Rui's not bad. He adds a lot of inside presence that you get. I mean, he's not the best, most fleshed out prospect, but he is something back that I wouldn't be too mad if lost Collin Sexton. I'm sure they'd want to pick back for Collin Sexton.
Is he a better prospect than Isaac Okoro?
Rui?
Yeah.
Is he a better prospect than Isaac Okoro? I think he has done more in this league than Isaac Okoro.
Yeah.
But I see aspects of Isaac that can be more valuable on a championship team.
Yeah, I think that's the question that the Cavs just need to ask themselves if they're bringing in a guy that's going to take some of Okoro's minutes.
Yeah, well, plus I think Rui's a power forward. Okoro's a wing. But I mean, Rui can play. He plays the 3 and 4. Isaac plays the 2 and 3. But I think I think Will Barton would be a great vet to have on this team. I think he kind of fills a lot of holes because we've talked about how Will Barton's just an all-around. He's good at everything, just not great at everything. And I think that's something they could really use some stability scoring on defense. Just another vet to have there. I mean, they have Ricky Rubio, they have Rondo, who's great vets to have, and I think he's just adding to that where they can still lean into Karras playing that 2 or Isaac playing the 2 and Karras off the 6. I think he's a valuable 3 to have. I honestly would rather have Will Barton play the 3 than Lauri Markkanen for this team.
Well, I don't think defensively Will Barton's going to give you much at the 3, but
better than Lauri.
At least you got some length from Lauri.
Yeah, but I mean, Lauri's also pretty slow. So if you're facing the Warriors in a fast-paced environment, Lauri's he's not doing much for you on defense because it's all full court press type. You're running, and he's just slower. He's not going to keep up. Where Will Barton will keep up. It's just he adds a small ball option for them and add more versatility.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good scorer. He can definitely help them in spurts. But he's going to be a bench player. I would not be starting Will Barton. Yeah.
And on the Wizards side, next to Bradley Beal, you're still lacking a point guard. Where I mean, who do they have now? Morris.
They got Monte Morris.
Monte Morris is probably going to be their starting point guard. If they did this, it would kind of push Beal to the 3, which is fine. Beal's 6'6". He's fine. If Anthony Edwards can play the 3, he can. Beal's just not the best defensive player, but I think that adds that's a really versatile backcourt with Morris, Sexton, and Beal. I'd be excited to see the offense that comes out of that.
Yeah, and they need scorers around Beal because he can't do it all every night.
Yeah, your second best scorer is Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, they need help.
Yeah, the guy that Collin Sexton would definitely help. I'm sure the Wizards are wishing that Spencer Dinwiddie played like he did in Dallas, like in Washington.
Yeah. Granted, he's a 6-man because he listened to your boy who said 6-man Dinwiddie is the best. He did. He watched this and he's like, that fucking nerd's got a point.
I didn't know Dinwiddie was here. He must be lurking.
Yeah, he's listening. He should comment below, Dinwiddie. I want to prove everyone wrong. But to jump into my second trade, so this is a straight up Cavaliers Jazz. The Cavaliers give Collin Sexton. Jazz give Bogdanovich. Now that's a real 3 you can have off ball. He can go around, give you your 15 points a night, give you some decent defense. It's only straight up because it's a sign and trade. People forget how little people get back for a sign and trade. So to get this back would be great. And plus, it just adds more versatility to the lineup. Just like I think they're looking for a small forward, not a shooting guard, because of Okoro did well and Karis LeVert's there. So I think they are looking for a small forward.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for the Cavs, but I think the Jazz would say no.
You think the Jazz can do better than Collin Sexton for Bogdanovich?
I think they want to be terrible, and they would rather trade Bogdanovich for picks if they can, and they'll just wait till they can get a pick package for him.
I don't know how many picks Bogdanovich is going to get them, honestly, just because how he has regressed in the last few years. And I think if they could get Collin Sexton back, that doesn't mean he's going to win them games. They've kind of found their replacement for Donovan Mitchell. Not that he's going to get there.
Then they have to pay Collin Sexton big money, which if you're a rebuilding team, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah, he has guaranteed skill. I mean, like the Magic are rebuilding, and they paid Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz and Wendell Carter.
Different situations, I would argue.
They did that going into the rebuild.
Collin Sexton, like you sign him, you trade for him. You know he's already spent a few years in the league losing. You think he wants to spend more years losing for Utah? Like, what's he gonna do at the end of that contract if they're not winning games? It's gonna be like, yeah, I just really want to be somewhere we're gonna win games. I'm gonna go to LA or Miami.
So I mean, you can look at it like at most they could get a first for Bogdanovich from the Cavs. So let's just use it for this. So you look at, would you rather have a mid-20s pick, say it's 2024, 2025, because they're going to be in the playoffs. I think the Cavs are going to be in the playoffs for a while. Are you going to have would you rather have a mid-20s pick or Collin Sexton? They're going to have to pay somebody. Like they never go in and not pay anybody. Like usually they get all teams, whether they're rebuilding or have no one on their team left anyway, they still stay around the cap. So they're going to have to pay someone, and I think they would rather pay Collin Sexton. And they'd rather have
but they don't need to do long contracts. Like, they would rather have the draft pick, I would argue. I definitely think, like, Collin Sexton, definitely a great player. I love him. I want to see him play. But, like, he's just going to play meaningless basketball on the Utah Jazz. And, like, if they trade for him, he's going to add, like, a couple wins to their team, but not enough to make the playoffs. So what's the reason for adding him when you could just, like, stockpile draft picks and then, get about the same amount of wins, probably the same amount of revenue, or actually you would get more revenue because you're not giving out that big contract. Maybe you pay someone else for, I don't know, the single year, but then you trade that guy later on in the season. You save some more money, at least in the later back half of the season. And then, you develop the guys that you have and see what you got there.
I mean, they don't have that many young talent anyway, and he is a very exciting player. Like he does bring excitement, and they do still have to sell tickets. So they don't want to be, especially a small market.
Does it fit their
like
window though?
I think he fits a lot of people's. I don't think he's going to affect anyone's rebuild as bad. I don't think he's going to help them win games, but he is a young talent that can get better and is exciting and can score. He's a nice piece to have, so I say I might as well have him in there. I mean, it's not keeping Bogdanovich isn't going to help do them any much better. So, and Bogdanovich is on an expiring deal.
Yeah, which is why he'll be easier to trade for picks this year than any other year.
I think that's the opposite. If he was on more a longer he's not a bad contract, Bogdanovich. So if he was on a 2,
He was
3
definitely considered a bad contract like last season. With like 2 years on his contract, no one wanted to trade for that. But like with 1 year on it, if he plays well and then you just rent him for the back half of the season, some teams will sign up for that.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna give picks for a guy who's on who's
They'll give
expiring like that.
They'll give like a protected first round.
I think the size of his contract and the 1 year cancel each other out. I think it's gonna have to be matching salaries for anyone to pick him up.
Well, they'll take back some shitty contracts.
All right, we'll move on to my last
goes.
Is the Cavaliers and the Hornets. So Collin Sexton and Dean Wade, and the Cavs get. So the Hornets get Collin Sexton, Dean Wade, and Terry Rozier goes to the Cavs.
Nice. Do you think Collin Sexton is better than Terry Rozier?
No, but he's going to make less money, and he's going to ask for less money. Plus,
I thought he wanted a lot still.
He's still more, and plus he fits LaMelo better because he's more off ball, and Rozier is more of on ball type player.
Sure. Yeah, he probably does fit better. That's fair.
Yeah, but you can make an argument that the Cavs don't want an on ball guy, but I do think if he came in, I think another playmaker next to Darius Garland is fine. He definitely plays better. Rozier plays better defense. Collin Sexton's a better shooter. So I mean, they kind of fit different veins there. So they could want more defense next to LaMelo, but LaMelo's pretty decent defensively himself. So I think an off-ball type cutter, shooter, and just that energetic guy next to LaMelo, I think Collin would love playing with him. So I think that it would be a great fit. And Rozier can help the Cavs win now.
Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting swap. Definitely, I think Rozier's been in Charlotte for a few years now, so maybe like just getting a new guy in there is good for them. Just switch things up. So who knows? Yeah,
I mean, it brings a little more young potential to the Hornets now that Miles Bridges is gone. So they kind of need that excitement back.
He's not gone quite yet.
Okay, I mean,
they haven't pulled the qualifying offer yet. So if he suits up for the Hornets again, we'll be furious. But
yeah, oh my God,
there's a possibility it still happens.
Michael, don't do this. MJ, come on, man.
I'll lose all respect.
Yeah.
Never I paired words in my life.
Never. But I mean, it's kind of Collin Sexton's options are pretty low now that it's the end of the offseason. A lot of people just can't be traded anyway, so a lot of sign and trades are just kind of out of the way. So,
I think there's just dominoes to fall. I think once Durant gets traded, once Donovan Mitchell gets traded, maybe a team like the Miami Heat settles and tries to do something to grab him. Or someone else.
Or Collin Sexton. Maybe. Yeah, he might be waiting for some of them just to be fit as salary in a 3-team trade somewhere. That could be it. Where they're just tossing him around the league. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could like to have Collin Sexton. Honestly, I would take him on the Magic. But we're pretty loaded with guards.
You guys have a lot of guards, though.
But I'll take any scoring at this point. We're pretty horribly offense, but.
All right, strictly ball business. We went so hard for you, so you leave a comment on the tube.